Over the course of a film, a protagonist typically faces off against their prominent character flaw. Traditionally, there can be two outcomes. The protagonist either overcomes their own flaw after seeing the error of their way, which in turn allows them to succeed, or their inability to overcome that flaw eventually destroys them. For a movie dedicated to dinosaurs eating people, spoilers, the character arc of Dr. Alan Grant is one of the cogs that promotes healthy film function in the classic film Jurassic Park. Without it, we merely have a dino action film, which, awesome, but it wouldn't distinguish itself as a classic it is today. In order for us to understand and appreciate change, we must see a before and after. And the first time we see Grant is at his dig site. Grant, who clearly possesses a wealth of love for dinosaurs, is interrupted by a young boy who lacks an appreciation for the reptilian. Grant delivers a bone-chilling account of how a pack of raptors would devour him if given the chance, leaving the boy in a puddle of his former attitude.
Try to show a little respect.
Okay.
On the base level, the scene is funny, but for a movie that only has a single scene before its catalyst, it's deceptively clever. Not only does it define Grant as the two things he is, A, a dinosaur lover, and B, a hater of children, it also sets up the game warden's death later in the film when the raptors hunt him in that exact method. Watching the film casually, you may not pick up these subtle references, such as the quick exchange shared between Dr. Grant and Dr. Sattler about how they feel about having children, but it's all there.
Kids. You want to have one of those?
I don't want that kid, but a breed of child Dr. Grant could be intriguing.
With Grant's disdain for younglings established, Jurassic Park proceeds to do what any good movie does, and it puts Alan in situations where he has to confront this flaw. As the plot progresses, Alan is in charge of evaluating Jurassic Park along with the target audience, the creators' grandchildren Tim and Lex. Now, out of the gate, Tim is a dino fanatic and proceeds to word vomit his love to Dr. Grant as he tries to find a good seat as far away from Tim as possible. Again, the scene distracts us by being funny, but is reminding us that Dr. Grant hates children. And if you didn't notice the attention to detail, actually go back and watch, and Tim is wearing pretty much a mere costume to Dr. Grant. It's pretty cute. As the tour continues, we see the first crack in Dr. Grant's armor. After abandoning their tour cars and stumbling down a hill to an injured Triceratops, Lex trips for a split second. It's Alan who stops to ask if she's okay. And am I digging into this? Because I think this is fair. Because it's so stupidly simple, but we've just established that Dr. Grant isn't actually a soulless, children-hating fiend. Suddenly, he's a three-dimensional character. The point of this tiny moment is that it shows Alan is malleable as a character, and it makes the next step of his journey believable. After the power's been cut and the T-Rex breaks out, Dr. Grant sacrifices his own safety to save the children when their car is left in peril. And from here on out, Dr. Grant shows more and more of his softer self. Dr. Grant is forced to spend some quality time with the pair as they navigate the wilds of Jurassic Park. With his dislike confronted and the audience knowing he can be persuaded, Alan's guard continues to drop. He remains awake in the tree so Tim and Lex can get some sleep, and even saves Tim's life after suffering 10,000 volts. Truth be told, it's pretty smooth sailing from this point on. Historically, in a script, the protagonist has a relapse of their flaw right before Act 3. I don't really see Grant doing anything like this. Instead, the combined efforts of the survivors are just enough to scrap them out of a bad situation. The final scene of the movie shows Dr. Grant boasting both of Hammond's grandkids in the helicopter after narrowly avoiding joining the menu at Jurassic Park themselves. This is the part of the film where, as a viewer, our hearts swell as we recognize the difference between Dr. Grant from where he was to where he is now. When the credits hit, we don't simply go, gee, I'm glad they escaped, because we kind of assumed that they would. We feel tied to the movie because we were invested in this particular character and this particular character change. And we actually really enjoy that satisfaction. We enjoy being part of that journey. I do admit that this transformation from children hating to super dad is a bit cheesy, but this is Spielberg, so it's a fat hunk of cheddar, and I really don't think it's gotten its limelight. Without Grant's transformation, we'd be lacking a fundamental investment in the cast's survival. Character change is a journey between point A and point B, but what happens in between determines our level of investment as an audience. Jurassic Park never falters from their original vision for Dr. Grant, and fills the movie with encounters to test his thinking about children. We start with a man who enjoys making the wee lad wet his pants, and at the end, we have a father figure that would defend his young from tooth and claw. Thank you for joining me on this film essay. If you enjoyed, you know all the good things that you can do to help me out. Let me know what you think of my thoughts in the comments below, and I will see you in another video.